Hello, Spirit Family. I'm Regis Williams, and this is the Spirit of Truth Awakening. I'm coming back today for another episode speaking about duality because it's a primary in our existence. Everything is polarity, having opposite characteristics. So I just want to uh, hit on that a little bit more because it's very important. It's kind of like a foundational piece. Actually, it is a foundational piece. Um, we have to come to grips with who we are and then deal with everything from the opposites, duality. We're going to have good and bad to come up against us on everything that we come across. It doesn't matter where it is. It can be in our everyday living, in life. It's in our politics. It's all over the world. It is a way of life. Um, we're dealing with two personalities within the spirit personality as well as and I'll call them personalities. They're much greater than personalities, but the spirit personality and the physical personality, the mind. Um, you are not your mind. You are the one that recognizes that you're thinking. You're the one that is going to make decisions based off of what your mind is bringing you. You have to go into yourself and take some time to recognize who you are and where you are in order to recognize when you are being led by your mind, because it's almost as if we're in this world but we're in this body, but we're actually going against something else that goes against our own will, and it's within us. And that's the duality within us, the good of what we want to do versus the wrong of what we don't want to do. So we have to come to grips with what the mind is bringing us, and are the suggestions that the mind is making, uh, you know, to a positive for what we're requesting, desiring. Um, um, it's very important. It's very important, and the thing is to recognize, and in recognizing, you can start, now, actually now, because you are at constant interaction with your mind and your spirit. Please know you are the spirit within. You are on this side of the veil and the other side of the veil. Uh, and as above, so below. So the things that you're thinking about in the spirit realm, on the other side of the realm, as you're existing in this physical realm, will manifest and come to be in this physical realm. It's a law. Um, uh, so based on that, we need to really orchestrate and think about the things that we're concentrating on in our thoughts, because our thoughts will make our reality if you concentrate on them enough, put enough emotion behind them and feelings, and boom, there you go. And just think about it like this. I always like to look at it as a positive. If you think positive things or things that are promotional to you in every way, concentrated thought on those things would be a tremendous help toward achieving those things or gaining those things in your life. Reason why is because that concentrated thought means you are aware that your mind is bringing you things that are contrary to what you would like to have. So as a result, we need to recognize, okay, we got a little duality situation within. So, and it's a constant life, battle, uh, to the battle of wills, the battle of what your mind and your body is going to tell you that it wants, and the battle of what you say is going to be and what you want. And the bottom line is, you are the supreme being. It has to subdue itself unto you, because you're the one that's making the shots. You're the one that's calling the shots. So you can train your mind by recognizing your mind when it's bringing you things that you're not uh, focused on to come, or things that are negative that you focused on and you found them to be negative. You didn't bring those thoughts to you. The thoughts came and you basically opened them up by putting your concentration and thought on them. Now that's how everything works here. Everything that you put your focus and concentration on, those are the things that come to life. That's in every aspect of life. I mean, it can be relationships, jobs, thought patterns, whatever. If you want to try to get rid of something, uh, focus on it, because this is how powerful you are. You are God. Nothing is really existing until you give it attention. Now that's pretty powerful. It's like saying, I'm the one that whenever I focus on something, it comes to be. And it's actually what comes to be right now. It's right now. Whatever your eyes are focusing on or whatever you see, it's only relevant to being because you're giving it your attention by giving it your sight. Even if you don't give it your thought, you are that powerful. The fact that you are looking at it gives it a valid position to be in this 3D realm and in your life experience. This is something that we have to come to grips with, but it's something that we have to come to grips with from the point of utilizing. It's a tool to know this stuff. When you recognize what tools you have and you cultivate a relationship with those tools, you'll be able to use those tools because you'll recognize things coming up constantly. You'll recognize those tools, and when the things come up, you'll know how to deal with them. You'll know how to actually orchestrate what you would like to happen next. Say something good and positive you would like to happen. The way that happens is you place your focus on it and look at where your mind is taking you. And is it going to somewhere that you're not wanting it to go? Is it bringing you thoughts that you're not wanting to have? You're in a whole different plane of where you want to go, and it's bringing you stuff that's not even concerning, or it's trying to give you some defeatist attitude about yourself and what you chose that you want, and says to you that you don't want to do this and whatever. That may not be true. That's a spiritual based thing. It may not happen. But I tell you, when you put your faith in it, when you put your focus and faith in it, that's a double. I mean, that's like a double barrel shotgun. You and God blowing it out of existence. So, and eliminating it comes with recognizing what it is that you're not wanting to think about. Now, when you recognize those thoughts, you need to capture that within. Hey, I recognize that as a thought that I do not want, and I'm going to release that thought because it's just not a part of me. It's not what my brain brought it, but it's not something that I accept as part of me or something that I want to think about. So as a result, I'm releasing that. I have no more thought for it, and I have no feeling or emotion for it. It is none attached to me. So you must detach yourself from those thoughts and feelings and emotions that are not consistent with what you're wanting to do or gain, or how you wanting to think. It's very important to know that these things I do, you shall do also. Well, Jesus did these things because he was a master manifester. He was a master of, actually, it's just Jesus. So it's God. It's an extension of God, just as we are. The whole Jesus thing, we are Jesus, if you really want to look at it from that point, because God came through us, and we're experiencing life with God, because we're existing in God, in this particular reality, and he is the Christ Spirit within us. And the thing is, we're dual in this thing. You're with God in this, and what can we do? We have ability. We have there's God, there is you, and then there is the Christ Spirit, the Christ, which is the actual functioning power of the essence of God, the one that or source, whichever one you want to call it, God, source, infinite intelligence. It's you, it's God, you, and Christ. I didn't say Christian, I said Christ. Now, as a result, God and you use the tool of the power of the Christ to bring about the things that you are looking to receive in life. Now, these things don't come as if, oh, I'll just think about this or I'll do this and it'll be. No, you have to put the work in. And when people are saying, hey, you got to put the work in, it doesn't mean go out here, and do these physical works and acts and stuff like that, unless there's a project you're working on and you need to put physical action behind it along with your spiritual and Christ-like power behind it to bring it to manifestation, which is in most things. But when it comes down to actually manifesting those things or bringing them to be, we want to have our Christ likeness in line with what we want, which means we need to make it clear what we want, and we need to go ahead and put our focus on it to the point of you need to go ahead and already see yourself with it, because actually you have it. You're just not in that moment now. And you are in that moment now, because when you think it and you can see it and feel it, you're putting yourself in that moment. Now that is a moment that we would consider a future moment, which there is no future, because whatever is future becomes present. So you're bringing that moment into this present. The idea is to remain in this present with that thing or whatever it is that you're trying to attain. Now you got to hold that in this moment, because you're doing this from your mind, your spirit, which is something that you see in your head or experience in your spirit. And it takes time for it to come from your spirit to this now present 3D form of physicalness. Okay, now when we go into the physicalness part, it's like you need to hold it in this present physicalness, because believe it or not, there is no past and there is no future. And if there were a future, it would be the present, because the present is the future, because that is all that there is. Now the past is that which we can remember. It doesn't exist. It's not a place that you can go to or anything like that. That's just a memory bank. A memory bank of things you've done, choices you've made, decisions you've made. And it's very good to have the past. But you have to recognize that it should stay as what it is. It is a past that you use to reflect back on for things that you've gone through, so that you can better facilitate things in the present, which is now. And you actually use your visualizing and your the desires for the things that you want going in the future by using the past to know what to do and what not to do to try to bring this to be. You're gaining, spiritual knowledge. So when you gain the spiritual knowledge, when you put it into activation, you're going to see some things happen, because this is a spiritual world. It's not a situation in which, we just do these things and it happens. No, there is good and there's evil, and it is all God. Please believe that. God is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the number of completion, number 9. The one that, and he is number 1. You see, because the 1 and the 9 multiplied are the 9. And he is the 9, because anything multiplied by the 9 is the 9. He comes back to the sum of 9 when you add them all together. Of course, a lot of people already know this. For those that you don't, well, there's a pearl. Okay, and also look at it like this: if you add all the numbers up into from 1 through 9, if you add them all together, they will come into 45. 4 and 5 is 9. Now that's the God situation there. Now to get back on what I was talking about with God, you and God, you're teammates. You're a couple. Actually, we are the wives of the Christ. So we are actually husband and wife. God is the father and the husband, and we are the wives. And we manifest things. We are all, male or female, you are a wife to God. And those things that you produce, it comes through God, because God gives you the ability to think and to experience whatever it is that is going to be. So as a result of that, you go on and you are meant to be a creator here. Women birth things into reality, this reality. We birth our creations into this reality. Who is the seed? God is the seed. And the Christ is the birthing mechanism of what we desire to have in this realm. These are things that you really have to think about, and you really should think about. I mean, because the world is changing. Can't you recognize the time? Time is recognizing you, and it ain't stopping for nobody. It's moving faster. So as a result, we need to come to grips with there's a change in the atmosphere. There's a change in the universe. And certain things that were tolerated before won't be tolerated anymore. Certain things that were hard to come by or hard to get are going to come by real quick. And that's a part of the age of Aquarius. So listen, it's a beautiful thing. It's all in your perception for how you look at it. But if you can be on the side of recognizing you have all power, and we can just discuss this, and we can come to a greater understanding of ourselves and use and implementation of what we have as the gods that we are. And as the gods that we are here to wake up the rest who really they need to be awakened. Check it out. I mean, look at the crime scene. Look at what we're being bombarded with the news, north, east, west, south, news. I mean, and it's not positive news. Everything is negative. Everything seems to have and there's only a small trickle of positiveness. And the focus is, even the weather. They make even the weather sound like it's a bad. Oh, it's gonna rain. Well, I mean, what's wrong with the rain? The rain is actually God being the seed to the earth. I mean, it just makes no sense. Our society is in a very sleep position and being taken advantage of, as we've always been taken advantage of. We are all slaves under this situation from which we are having information. They can't. The deal is they can't hide the information from you, but they can put it before you in such a way that it's in plain sight and you don't even see it because you're asleep by the constant battle for your attention to be placed on other things outside of what you really should be tithing to God, which is doing what he said. That's your tithing. And that is coming to know who you are and making this world a better place, because when you become to know who you are, you know you have all power and you can be a strong contributor to making this world a better place. Now, these are some things to think about. I'm going to be coming back and doing more, and we'll go into more in-depth talks because I'm just putting the information out here. God put it in me. I'm letting it be known. I've known it. I've lived it, and I've experienced the beauty within all of it. And it is beautiful, and it is truth. That's the big thing. The world is trying to get you to see that, oh, that's just philosophy. It's not truth. No, this is the truth that has been hidden from you. If you notice, a lot of things have been hidden from you. Things in the Bible have been taken out, and things in the Bible have been added too, such as hell. Okay, it wasn't originally like that. We've got some corrupt minds that are awake, and because they are awake, they have found how they can take advantage of the world and all its resources and the love and the people that it has, and it's turned them into slaves. People aren't really happy. I mean, you shouldn't have to come to this life and live a situation from which, it's a struggle to have just the basics in life. I mean, the distribution of monies. I mean, why does one man need billions of dollars? I mean, why? I mean, 500 million. Why does a person need that? I mean, sure. I mean, but if you have it, what are you doing with it? I mean, it's one thing to have it, but what are you doing with it? And to say, oh, I mean, what are you helping anybody with it? And when you're helping them with it, are you only going to the extent to where that you can claim it as a tax write-off, or is it coming from the inside saying taxes and all that has nothing to do with it? This is my calling, and I'm part of the one that is making the call, and we are a team. You have angels, ascended masters, spiritual ancestors. You got people all over. Everybody does. That you come from. You're a part of the team. So, it's like this. You're the player on the football field. God is the owner, and you got all the coaches. The GM, which is angels, guardian angels, ascended masters, archangels, spiritual ancestors, all these different coaches. Now you're out there on the field, they're giving you the plays. Now it's time for you to wake up and do the plays. If it's a running play, don't go throw a pass. Come on, y'all. I mean, it's the same thing with any other sports that one's involved in. And I'm just using the sports analogy because it's a simple thing for people to understand. And Jesus used a lot of analogies, and we should follow him since he's the way shower. But with that, I'll be back for another episode, and we can go deeper and deeper, which I intend to go deeper and deeper. I want to make this simple for people because, believe it or not, I'm supposed to pass this on. You're supposed to put active work into understanding and knowing and practicing what I'm doing so that you yourself can do your own tithing back to, the Father that has created you and put you here and is in you. The Father is trying to come alive and wake up in you. It's time for you to recognize, hey, it is what it is. And this life thing called life is a beautiful journey, but it can be a lot better when we're awake in the journey. You guys be blessed. Namaste.